Looking back at the last, I'd say 10 years, we have seen so many different types of data regulations come around the globe at us with a force. I mean, for a long time, we're talking about GDPR as being the privacy law we all look to from a global perspective. Now looking at where we're at, even in the US, we have state privacy, state AI regulations, looking at what's happening with AI in Europe, UK, Singapore, to name just a few, and then the Data Act on top of it. There's a floodgate of them. So I'd say in terms of the current state, I'm optimistic that we're hearing governments around the world talking about, taking a step back and looking at the overlap, looking at how to simplify, looking at how we can, remove some of the administrative burdens perhaps, while we're still protecting privacy, protecting individuals' fundamental rights, but looking at where more of that, just bureaucratic simplification could really help companies and individuals in the end. In terms of data governance, I think at its heart, data governance is understanding what data you have, understanding the data lifecycle, understanding where it flows. And so it should be simple to manage it from a global perspective, just really understanding the fundamentals of your data. Where the challenges could come over the next few years is if we don't see consistency in some of the fundamentals. If we don't see, for example, if we're talking from a privacy perspective, controller processor set out and roles and responsibilities in laws around the world, then companies are going to have to apply different rights and handle data differently in different areas, and that's going to create a lot of complications. So we're very supportive of seeing those consistent rules and responsibilities, understanding there's going to be some nuances in different regulations, but without those consistencies, we're going to have challenges in terms of data governance. When we look at data governance, data is flowing around the globe. Whether we're talking about AI, whether we're talking about, enterprise software from a Workday perspective, our customers are global organizations where they're using our software to manage their human resources, and it's critical to be able to have the data flow around the globe so you can manage your books, manage your workforce. And so in order to make sure that companies can really operate their businesses and comply with regulations at scale, having those conversations, in terms of regulators, policymakers around the globe to look at interoperability, to look at harmonization, and to look at making sure that there's consistencies is critical for a company to build a governance program. As I've highlighted, when we talk about looking at where regulations are going, we need to make sure that global policymakers, regulators are having conversations with industry, that we're having conversations with, researchers, and really bringing all of that knowledge together so that we can make sure that, future regulations, future enforcement is workable while still protecting fundamental human rights. And so having the opportunity to participate in conferences like the Privacy Symposium, especially ones that are, a little bit away from cities where you might get distracted and pulled into a lot of other side meetings, having an opportunity where people can really just focus on the topic and have those conversations, whether it's learning, in the sessions and having voices from around the globe, truly around the globe, talking about what they're doing, or being able to get the coffee at a break and be able to have those side conversations about, what a technology company is doing and how, they're trying to protect privacy and where there may be some challenges with some of the administrative burdens is key, I think. So it's wonderful to have these people all come together in a place like this. So we're very excited to be here again. Looking forward over the next year, Workday has always been a strong proponent of privacy laws that protect fundamental human rights while still, allowing companies to innovate. And so we continue to advocate for a federal privacy law in the United States, and to focus on the free flow of data, making sure that, especially thinking about the enterprise situations, that we're continuing to have, workable approaches to data transfers around the globe. When we think about data protection, and compliance, the easiest way to build trust and to be able to demonstrate that your program, that you're doing what you say you do, is to look at means to either have certifications, codes of conduct, ways to demonstrate that you've built a program that does what it says. And especially from an enterprise, cloud perspective, we want to be able to demonstrate that to our customers across the globe, to our regulators across the globe. So we invest heavily in certifications, codes of conduct. We were the first company to adhere to the EU Cloud Code of Conduct, and we're very involved in making that. We have binding corporate roles, and so we're a proponent of certifications that can help build trust with customers and demonstrate compliance.